This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Sanctuary, a Bad Batch novel. And this is an entertaining story. It is about the Bad Batch, about a month after the episode of Pabu, but set before the events of the arc of the final part of season 2, episodes 14, 15, 16, which is Tipping Point, the Summit, and Plane 99. Where they go on the mission to attempt to rescue Crosshair, which eventually leads to the death of Tech. But since that is set before it, we do get one final adventure with Tech, and it is honestly it's a fun story. There are some things that I didn't love about it. I think I was most annoyed by is the changing of probably one of the most interesting planets from the original EU, which is Kesh. And that was originally the planet that the lost tribe of the Sith crashed on. And for 5,000 years, they were on that planet and, well, taking control of it and preparing to return to the galaxy. And now it's just a random planet that exists in the Star Wars galaxy that was part of the Republic. It's honestly just really disappointing because they really could have used any other planet, and I think it also does have at least another change where I'm pretty sure in Fate of the Jedi, where it is first introduced, it is said that the Kashirian humans are not capable of having children together. I might be confusing it with another species, but I am pretty sure that's what was mentioned in it. And it is a reason that the Kashiri were still generally, although not officially considered second class citizens compared to humans, and why it's a lot harder for them to go and get a higher rank in that society. And yeah, that's enough talking about Fate of the Jedi, because I could go into an entire crazy discussion about Abeloth, but don't worry, my re-reviews of Fate of the Jedi will be coming out soon, but I'll be talking about that tomorrow. And going into just this novel specifically, it really did feel like it caught the tone of it. Although, really, it's impossible for it to catch the feeling of an episode of the show, mainly due to the fact that it is a novel and a lot more is going to happen in a novel that takes a few hours to read versus an episode of a television show that takes 20 minutes to watch, no matter, well, 20 to 30 minutes to watch, depending on the episode, no matter how you want to watch it, unless you're technically watching it like double speed or half speed. But if you're watching it the intended way, well, there's really no way to change the time it takes to watch it, even if you take breaks, but you get the point. And with this, I did feel like it was generally just it would have been an arc of something like Clone Wars, since it really wasn't too many arcs in Bad Batch, and when it was major stuff focusing on mainly the clones and their everything going on with them. But just looking at it, it was, like I said, it was honestly just super interesting to see. There are these references to Crosshair, and obviously at this point they don't know that Crosshair has been captured by the Empire after betraying them and killing that just absolute scumbag in, I believe it was the Outpost. Yeah, the Outpost, which is the episode before Pabu, and it was just honestly really nice to see. It does also have a slight little plot hole for the 1 trillion credits that they managed to steal. And yeah, technically, they never said that they stole 1 trillion credits, but also if you take a look at what happened, they said, oh, we could steal a bunch of money, but she's eventually going to catch it, but then it immediately cuts to Vader going and executing her, and I don't remember what the female antagonist's name is, but it was just pretty obvious that they did steal that trillion credits, and well, they probably could have used that in the either the missions to go and rescue Crosshair or to go and save Omega. But really, besides that, really entertaining. I think that the mystery with the Kashiri woman was pretty good, and I was wondering for the first time, at least from what I could think of a clone that is not Boba Fett actually being able to have a child. Maybe it happened in one of the Karen Travis novels in Legacy of the Force when I was dealing with Boba Fett on Mandalore. I can't remember that. It's off the top of my head, but I don't think it happened. And the only children of a clone I could think of, or clone of Jango Fett at least, is Boba Fett's daughter. I can't think of her name right now, but Mitra Gev's mother. And honestly, I mean, it is interesting to see that this is possible to happen. And the ISB agent, a solid antagonist, and just the absolute crazy woman who was just kind of insane. She was a fine secondary antagonist, and they both were pretty interesting, and seeing them have to play off of each other. They were as good as some of the other great villains of the series, especially not going up to the likes of Hemlock, who was just honestly insane and nowhere near the more complexity of Crosshair. But still, it was a solid story, and it was overall really enjoyable. I do like the dynamics between the team, and they're trying to figure out if they want to stay with Pabu or not, and them sort of making that decision, and then continuing on to see what will happen next. I think that honestly it was just a pretty great story to have. They also get to basically fully confirm the relationship between Tech and Fee, and there actually was one there, so that was nice to have, and it was, as I said, it was overall it was a really enjoyable. I did like it, and honestly, I'd love to see them do more stories, but definitely want to see one focused on Echo and him working with Rex in the Clone Resistance. I mean, it'd be fine as a novel, although I'd love to see it as a maybe a Tales of or a some kind of animated series or movie or something. See what happened to Rex and what sent him to that ATTE, because probably not good news for Echo. But yeah, honestly, it was pretty interesting, and also I think it could be interesting, just as a thing with the clones in general, if they did bring back from the EU the cure to de-aging, so these clones could live on longer. But yeah, honestly, as I said, I really enjoyed this. I think that the writer did a good job capturing what the Bad Batch was supposed to be. A few little complaints from me, but honestly, overall, it was a really enjoyable story, and it's great for any fan of the Bad Batch. But one other thing I want to mention is what I thought was initially a potential plot hole, but figured I was thinking of it wrong, and there's the fact that Yularen knew of the Death Star I was thinking of the scene from Andor where Krennic was mentioning how they didn't know anything that was going on, and specifically mentioned Yularen and Tarkin. But then I remember that was in reference to Gorman and not to the Death Star project. And looking at this, yeah, definitely a more extreme reaction for this, well, really rich and influential person going and figuring out about the Death Star, especially compared to Dedra, where she just gets tossed into a prison and, well, this person gets executed by Vader. But I think that does make sense, especially since it's a lot earlier in and they don't want anyone to know what the Death Star at all, since this takes place about a year after the events of Revenge of the Sith slash Clone Wars Season 7 slash the Bad Batch premiere slash, just a bunch of other pretty horrific events, mainly all focused around Order 66 and the birth of the Empire, including the births of Luke and Leia and Ezra, and I mean you get it. It's a lot of stuff happened during this time period. Death of Padme, Anakin becoming Vader, just really a lot of stuff. But it's also interesting to get a basic confirmation of that timeline, and it was overall just a really nice story. As I said, I do think it was pretty enjoyable, and really it's good for any fan of the Bad Batch. But yeah, honestly, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.